From the deep, dark hollows of Knott County, Kentucky, where the moonshine is strong, the stories are strange, and your neighbor is probably your cousin. This is Appalachia, Not So Quiet. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Appalachia, Not So Quiet. I am your host, Hillbilly Phantom, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife and co-host,
Appalachian Shade.
How are you doing today, sweetheart?
Good.
Good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Great. I'll sit here on the couch all day with my feet up.
Yeah.
Just chill.
It's been a nice, lazy day.
Yeah.
It's always nice to have those easy days.
Not too lazy. I did do some laundry.
Well, yeah. Well, you've done more than I have. I've actually, you've brought me a couple baskets of laundry to fold, and I haven't done it yet. So, my darling, on our last episode, we talked about ghosts, as we tend to do on Mondays.
Yeah.
And usually on Wednesdays, we do something a little different. But we're kind of sticking with supernatural, because on this episode, we've decided to get a little bit religious, but still sticking to that supernatural theme. We're going to talk about the beings that serve God.
The first choir.
The angels. Very strange and powerful beings. They have revealed themselves on many occasions to prophets. You read about it in the Bible. And in Scripture, the descriptions of these angels is sometimes a little strange.
These people when prophets were only able to see them with the protection of God, because if they had seen them without the protection of God, they would not have been able to sustain.
Yeah, because angels are so powerful and so holy.
Life.
Yeah, that they would probably obliterate a regular man walking around with sin in his heart.
They would have to purify him.
But, just about every story in the Bible involving an angel, when the angel appears, the first thing they have to say is, "Fear not," because apparently angels are just so incredibly terrifying to normal mortal beings as us.
Really terrifying. It's just that they are so...
You just have to imagine that they, must be extremely strange and foreign to us mere mortals, because they have to warn people right away, hey, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I'm here. I'm delivering a message. And that's usually the role of angels, is messengers. Now, the typical representation of angels is usually a human in a robe with wings and a halo. And that's kind of a very simplistic version of angel. But I guess there are angels that can take that form, but that's not the typical descriptions you find in the Scripture about angels. So if you take some of the biblical accounts and descriptions, you learn about all these different entities. I think they kind of group them all in as angels, but they wouldn't technically be considered angels, I suppose. But you have like the highest order of these entities.
Yeah, these ones, their primary role is not to serve humanity at all. They're not like guardian angels or messengers. Their purpose is higher, to guard the holiness of God's throne.
Right, they surround the throne and protect the throne.
Right.
And sing the Lord's praises.
Mm-hmm.
Singing holy, holy, holy.
Yep.
Yeah, the seraphim are they're just kind of there to protect the throne, to protect God and sing his praises.
Yeah, they're not the gentle harp-playing angels in the white robes.
Right.
These beings are fire, light, and purity, and burning with the holiness of God.
Yeah. They're described sometimes as made completely of fire, but they're also described with wings.
Yeah, it says they have 6 wings.
Yeah.
And there's 2 that cover their feet. They use 2 to fly with. And then they have 2 that they cover their faces with.
Yeah.
And the reason they have the 2 that covers their faces is because not even they are able to look God in the face.
Right.
They have to protect their face.
Yeah, they would have to protect their face from us seeing them.
Yes.
Because their power their awesome holiness would probably destroy us.
And their voices shake the very foundation of heaven.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shaking all of heaven. They're so powerful. Their voices are.
And you imagine a sound so powerful it makes stones quake. That's
Yeah,
how loud it is.
that's
Yeah.
pretty impressive. I wonder if Metatron, do you know?
I've heard of it from Enoch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Metatron, he's like the voice of God or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if he was a seraphim. I'm not sure. He may fall into the archangel because they kind of throw Gabriel and Metatron and Michael all together in the archangel category.
So I know it says in the Bible that, they have to say, fear not. But it says that this is why prophets often collapse in fear when they see heavenly beings. It's not about scariness, it is their earthly sense. Like they're just so overwhelmed with the holiness of these.
Yeah, like I said, they're just
Yeah.
they have such an awesome holy power about them.
Yeah.
That it would probably destroy us to look upon them fully.
Yeah.
And they would be destroyed by looking upon God fully. So that tells you how powerful God is.
But now there has been a time that the Sephorium has interacted directly with a human. And Isaiah had a vision.
So the Bible verses related to the seraphim is Isaiah chapter 6, 1 through 7. The year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord high and exalted, seated on a throne, and the train of his robe filled the temple. Above him were seraphim, each with 6 wings. With 2 wings they covered their faces, with 2 they covered their feet, and with 2 they were flying. And they were calling to one another, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. The whole earth is full of his glory. At the sound of their voices, the doorposts and thresholds shook, and the temple was filled with smoke. Woe to me, I cried, I am ruined, for I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips, and my eyes have seen the King, the Lord Almighty. Then one of the seraphim flew to me with a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with tongs from the altar. With it he touched my mouth and said, See, this has touched your lips. Your guilt is taken away and your sin atoned for. So there you go.
Yeah, their role is they're purifiers. Make you pure again.
Right. So I wonder if that's how they do it. Like, it wouldn't necessarily destroy us and turn us to ash. Maybe it just completely burns away all of our sin, all of our uncleanliness. And that's how the seraphim do it. They just look at us and burn it away.
Right, their holiness is so strong though we couldn't withstand it. Like,
but purifying the soul isn't the same as the body. So
symbolically, it's like it's not about comfort; it's about like transformation.
Yeah,
to stand near the front of God, and sometimes it has to be burned away.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can't stand before God be unclean or anything.
So, and there's many people that confuse seraphim with the archangels like Michael and Gabriel and Raphael, but their roles are totally different again. Like archangels are messengers and warriors and guides for humanity.
Exactly.
Whereas these are just totally devoted to the internal worship of God.
Right.
Seraphim is.
And like I said, I'm not even sure if you can really consider those entities the seraphim. I'm not sure if they fall into the same category as angels.
No, but I guess that's how they interpret it in the Bible. They call them angels.
Yeah, they were kind of angelic like.
They're spiritual beings.
Right. Yeah, they were these spiritual entities that were close to God.
Yeah.
And served God.
His royal guards, per se.
Yeah.
Yeah. They never leave the throne room, and they're always surrounding God himself.
Yeah. And in Isaiah, he actually saw the throne of God, saw God sitting upon the throne, and saw these seraphim around him. The seraphim cleansed him.
The only way he was protected was from God's holiness that kept them from destroying him or purifying him to his death.
Interesting entities, creatures that they mention in the Bible. And you have to wonder, are they real?
I want to, in my mind think maybe that the sun is the seraphim protecting God per se. Because you can't
Okay.
really, like, if you just think about it, you can't stare at the sun. It damages your eyes. It's so hot, and that's what they say, that they're so much heat, purity, holiness from them that it would just scorch you. So kind of the sun per se is the same maybe as God's holiness, like just the power.
Do you think that's something that these people interpreted, the same way? Like they were seeing the sun and saying it was God surrounded by seraphim and they couldn't look upon it? Or do you think maybe the sun actually, is God?
I don't know. You could interpret it however
Yeah.
you would want. We don't know. We'll never touch the sun, so it's so hot. And that's kind of the way that they described
And the
the
sun
power of these angels.
and the sun is really, the reason for life on earth.
And
So,
if, let's say, the seraphim, if their, power is so hot that we can't withstand it, imagine what God's power is, that we
yeah,
can't
exactly.
withstand it. And that's why we can't see his face.
I mean, it is a a realistic kind of comparison.
It's just something your mind may wonder.
Like I said, it is a very realistic comparison because, there was plenty of societies in ancient times that worshipped the sun.
And when you go outside and you feel the warmth of the sun, it's comforting.
Yep. Yeah.
Possibly.
There you go. Bringing those big philosophical questions out to
Yeah.
everybody. So now you mentioned the archangels, and I'm a big fan of the archangels, especially Michael. He's a total badass. He kicks everybody's butt. He like whips Satan. Yeah, he's awesome. He's always killing demons. Yeah, he's like a superhero, Michael the archangel. So archangels are kind of like leaders among the angels. And like, if you throw these other entities, these seraphim and some of the others we're going to discuss, if you throw them all together under the umbrella of angels, then I guess the archangels would be in charge of all of them and are only answerable to God. Now, as you stated earlier, their role mainly consisted of, they were messengers and protectors, and they were often involved in significant events. Like I said, Michael gets to whip up on Satan. Now, there is a verse in Scripture where it talks about Michael, Archangel Michael. But even the Archangel Michael, when he was disputing with the devil about the body of Moses, did not himself dare to condemn him for slander, but said, "The Lord rebuke you." So right there, that's one of the times he got to kind of whip Satan.
Yeah.
He said, "The Lord rebuke you," and just shoot him away, basically. And then another verse in Scripture that mentions Michael, it's talking about the end times and says, "For the Lord himself will come down from heaven with a loud command, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trumpet call of God, and the dead in Christ will rise first." So basically, the archangel is going to be coming out with God, announcing him. Everybody bow down.
Yeah, Gabriel. They keep talking in the Bible about coming and blowing his trumpet.
Yeah, Gabriel. Yeah, Gabriel is another that they consider him an archangel. At least some people do, some theologians, but not many people, I think, in the religious realm really consider Gabriel an archangel. But he fits the description, messenger, all that type of stuff. So yeah, I guess that you could technically consider Gabriel an archangel with the whole messenger thing.
It says that he announced the birth of John the Baptist and Jesus.
Right.
Yeah. So he was a messenger.
Yeah, he's a messenger, an announcer, as it were.
And he's going to play that trumpet.
He's going to play that trumpet. Yeah. That's right. So yeah, I guess he could be, like I said, the whole messenger thing kind of fits.
Our little bugle boy.
He might be right up there with Michael. Yeah. But now Michael, like I said, is a total badass. Okay, so now we're going to get back to some more of these.
Yeah, the first choir.
Some more of these entities that are in the first choir.
There's 3 of them together. So we already talked about the Sephorum. Sorry, we're talking about the Sephorum. So these are the ones that's closest to God. So we're talking about the cherubim.
Cherubim. Yeah, I think it's cherubim.
Yeah. And a lot of people want to think that these are the cute little angels.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what you think
Cupid,
of.
little
They yeah,
cute
they
baby faces with the wings and little
yeah,
diapers.
yeah,
And,
Cupid. Yeah, they talk about,
yeah,
cherub angels.
yeah,
They've even got a whole line of those little statues, remember?
yeah.
The little statues of the cherub
Right, you
angels.
put in your flower bed, like
Yeah, that's what you
garden
think of.
decoration.
You see the word cherubim, you're thinking, "Oh, yeah, the little cherub."
Not the case here.
No,
Far from.
not even close.
So the cherubim guards the mysteries, God's mysteries, and there's supposedly that they carry His throne.
So they carry the
They
throne,
carry the
while the
throne.
Sephirim protect the
Mhm.
throne and sing God's praises.
So they're said to have 4 faces. They're supposed to have a face of a man, a lion, an ox, and an eagle.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the description.
So Ezekiel's vision, if we expand the description, he said each had 4 faces: the face of a man, lion, an ox, and an eagle. Their bodies full of eyes, and the sound of their wings was like the roar of rushing water.
That's actually a pretty good description.
Yeah.
So you're looking at basically a guy, but he also has the head of a lion, the head of an ox, and the head of an eagle, and then eyes
Yeah, eyes are all over their wings.
all over, yeah, their bodies and their wings, right?
Yeah.
So
So
I mean, that's a pretty good description. You don't have to
Mhm.
really try too hard to imagine that one.
And it says that their faces symbolize the fullness of creation, as the man represents wisdom and reason, the lion representing kingship and courage, the ox representing strength and sacrifice, the eagle representing vision and swiftness. They are not one creature, they are many faces, many perspectives, united in one being.
Wow. So it actually is like 4 separate beings as one
One.
being. Well, that's kind of cool.
But like again, it says that they guard mystery. And in Exodus, the golden cherub sat atop of the ark of the covenant. Their wings touched out, overshadowing the mercy sweat where God's presence appeared.
So the cherubim are yeah, they're kind of like
And,
guardians.
right, and so they're terrifying, just not because they're like ugly, but because they're embodied the fullness of divine knowledge and creation. They
Mm.
see in every direction, but they don't turn their heads. They hear every sound, and
Well, they have eyes all over them.
nothing escapes their vision.
Yeah. They have eyeballs all over them. Yeah, I think they're going to see everything.
But their role is really just guardianship again of God. They protect the
Yeah.
boundaries and
So
ensure
so
that
they're
God's mysteries are not profound.
so they're like guardians, kind of like the seraphim are. They're there to guard God as well, but in a little bit lesser role than the seraphim.
Yeah, they're number 2
Yeah, they're the number 2s.
in choir 1.
Yeah, they're guarding the throne, holding up the throne, ready to take on anything that comes near the throne, and they can see everything, no
Yes.
matter what comes up. So nothing's going to get through there.
Is that why God sees everything? Because his angels
Yeah.
seem to all have extra eyes as well.
Yeah, he's got
So,
eyes everywhere.
yeah.
Yeah, even on his angels. So I found something that might kind of explain the whole cherub,
Mhm.
Cherubic face, childlike looking angel. There was no direct translation for cherubim from Hebrew, and some people thought that the closest translation was child. So that's how the whole cherubim were these little babies with wings, basically.
Okay. So that makes
Yeah.
sense, like why all these Renaissance paintings and sculptures are mostly little babies
Right.
with wings.
Yeah, because they interpreted cherubim to mean child, so they thought these cherubim were like childlike. But they still didn't. I mean, like I said, that's a pretty decent description that's given in Ezekiel.
Mhm.
Yeah, in
Ezekiel 1.
So I don't know how they would go, oh, well, it's a child, and then just ignore the ox head, the lion head, the eagle head, the eyes all over it. I don't understand that. But like I said, that's just a kind of a theory of where that whole cherub angel thing came from. But there very well could have been angels that may have looked like that, because when you get on down the line of these various types of angels, if you want to call them that, like I said, a lot of times they don't seem to fit the angel description. There is just regular angels as we typically have them depicted.
Yeah.
Looks like just a person in a robe with wings and a halo. So that's not too ridiculous.
They're number 9 in line.
Right.
So
So
because you got the
yeah,
archangels and then you have the angels.
yeah, those angels
So
actually exist, but they're they're like way down the line. Yeah, they're the bottom of the rung of the angels. They're probably not suiting up in armor and fighting anything. They're just delivering messages. And I don't think they're the, like made of fire and,
no.
will burn your eyes out type of creatures either.
So
So,
I think it's just choir 1 that really is made of fire.
yeah, so a lot of people are really only aware of those lower level angels though, because that, like I said, that's just been the popular depiction. But you have these higher angels, and they're these really,
Powerful.
really powerful and strange creatures, entities, like from another realm, which I guess they are.
They're made in God's creation that
Yeah.
we just can't understand.
Yeah, yeah, our
Yeah.
brains can't even,
Fathom.
fathom. Bizarre.
Yeah. So in the final one in choir 1 is the thrones, or what Ezekiel called them, Ephorium.
Orphanum.
Orphanum.
Yeah.
The Orphanum. Ezekiel called them the Orphanum. The wheels within the wheels.
Yeah, those things are really weird.
Yeah.
You've seen a lot of people making these AI pictures and stuff of these orphanum because they're like these wheels of eyes
An
within each
eyeball
other.
in the middle.
Yeah, and then there's this big central eyeball, and
Yeah.
they're usually on fire, like
Yeah.
blazing with flame.
Yeah, it says they're often described as giant wheels of fire covered in eyes, turning endlessly.
Yeah, so I mean that elicits a pretty terrifying reaction, to think of a being that looked like that.
Imagine a galaxy turned inside out, alive, spinning, filled with light and awareness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a pretty strange looking creature there.
And they represent God's justice and authority. They're the foundation of his government and his cosmic law.
So they're like the police or the lawyers.
Right. They pass down divine justice to lower angels
Okay, they're
so that
judges.
order in heaven, and on earth remains unshakable.
Oh, okay, so they keep the order.
Yeah. And it says they're terrifying in their majesticity, not because they harm, but because they embody the balance of mercy and judgment.
Embody the balance of mercy and judgment. There you go. Yeah, they're like like I said, like the police and the judges and the lawyers of heaven. And the way they're described, I mean, they almost sound mechanical, because you can't think of a living flesh and blood type of being that is full of eyeballs and is made up of a bunch of circles that spin endlessly and is on fire. So that makes me think more of like a device of some kind. I wonder if they might be some kind of technology that God uses.
Never know.
Well, we may
Till
know.
we get there.
Yeah.
Of course, we don't know now.
We may know one day when we're take our first steps into eternity.
So
But
to
we're
go
not
back
gonna know on this
over,
earth.
the Sephorium burns with eternal worship, the cherubim guard the mysteries, and the thrones carry divine justice. So they're not what pop culture imagines. They're not soft or small. They're overwhelming. They are holy.
Yeah.
Holy, holy, holy.
Holy, absolutely
Yeah.
holy. I mean, there's no other being in the universe that is as holy as the first choir.
But all of these guardians and angels that he has, they have to veil themselves from God because
Yeah, because even they can't
Yeah.
stand his awesome power.
because his holiness is so great.
Yeah.
It's greater than theirs. So imagine like what we've already discussed, how great they are.
Yeah.
How he
Yeah,
is.
God is far, far greater than any of them.
Yeah.
As his holiness and his power. It's amazing. It's awesome. And these creatures, these entities, these angels that are described in the Bible are just, they're just kind of a tiny little taste of God's awesome power, because he created all of them as well.
Yeah. The next time you're looking at the sun or you hear the roar of a storm or you see the stars turning overhead, or maybe you're catching just the faintest reflection of these heavenly beings or forever surrounding the throne.
Hey, I talked earlier about the sound of the angel's wings was like thunder,
roaring
rattling stone.
water.
It shook the entire temple.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where storms come from, these hurricanes, angels beating their wings. So amongst all this, I did run across something that talks about the Malachim. And according to this, the Malachim are the only ones that should actually be referred to as angels.
Mm-hmm.
Because Malachim is just a translation of the Hebrew word that means angels. Technically, so this is what I was talking about earlier, that lower level of angel, kind of your base level angel. They're mainly just messengers. But I guess this is what their actual Hebrew name was Malachim. And yeah, it comes from the Hebrew word that actually means angel or messenger. And the descriptions of the Malachim are the most similar to how angels are depicted in our pop culture.
Which it makes sense because they're the ones that that we see the most. They're the ones that are dealing with humanity.
Yeah, like I said, we can actually stand to look upon them.
Yeah.
So the majority of Bible passages in the Old Testament don't really give much of a description of what these Malachim, these angels, actually look like. Daniel 10 gives us the best description of biblically accurate angels, and Daniel describes them as like men, but having a shining quality to them. Their skin resembles topaz and burnished bronze. So yeah, that's
so like an amber color.
That's a strange skin color. Topaz. Is that the color that Trump puts on? Burnished bronze.
Say he's orange.
Yeah. So. Topaz and burnished bronze. Yeah, that's an interesting color.
That's like the color of my tan during the summertime.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not orange like, but I'm pretty bronze.
Oh yeah, you definitely get bronze. So does our oldest boy.
Yeah,
he gets even more bronze than you do. So then in the New Testament, it doesn't really give any more additional information about what these angels really look like until the very last book of the Bible. Revelation 10 gives a detailed description of at least one angel. Verse 1 says, "This angel was robed in a cloud with a rainbow above his head. His face was like the sun, and his legs were like fiery pillars." So I guess that burnished bronze skin color out in the bright sunlight must have looked like he was on fire, or maybe, as some of the other angels demonstrate, maybe they're actually made of fire. This was the end times. Maybe the angel was wearing copper armor of some kind, copper colored armor of some sort.
Copper element.
Yeah, and he was robed in a cloud though.
And they copper conducts power very well.
Yep. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, conducting the power of an angel through copper.
We're getting all scientific, nerdy.
I don't know if that has anything to do.
It probably don't. But
yeah. Okay. Technically, though, there is one thing.
Okay.
That everybody's gotten wrong about your typical Malachim angel. Not once in the Bible does it say they actually have wings. So I don't know where that came from. Maybe just because so many of the other entities that were assumed to be angels, I guess.
Yeah, like the first choir all have wings.
Yeah, they're all depicted with wings. So maybe they just assumed your regular low level interacting with humans angel would also have wings. Now there even seems to be lower tier angels, even among your regular angels. There seems to be some division of types, because you hear people talk about things like guardian angels. Are these actually these lower level angels? There's some of them that are
like a specific human, like humanity.
Right. Like there's these lower tiers of these angels, these Malachim, that are guardian angels. And they watch over people here on earth. And, we've both been in some situations where
definitely something.
Definitely a guardian angel, or at least maybe the spirit of one of our ancestors, one of our family members, dearly departed. Maybe they were helping us out.
Definitely back in my younger years, what I call my jackass years, where I was testing all my 9 lives.
Exactly. But yeah, since these angels are the ones who usually interact with mankind and are always delivering messages and stuff, maybe there are some of them that hang around and help us out every now and then. Because I know I like to believe that there's angels watching out for me, watching out for all of us. because we make some really dumb decisions.
We have.
And these are but a few of the entities, the holy beings that supposedly reside within heaven and serve God. We've only talked about a few, and we talked about the first choir, and we talked about a few of the lower level, the archangels and the regular angels, the malachim.
We still got choir 2 to talk about.
Yeah, there's still some other types of angels. There's the dominions, the virtues,
and the powers.
And the powers, yeah.
And those ones are concerned with like the universe and creation.
Yeah.
So those are not like the first ones that are the closest to God's throne. These ones concerned with.
Yeah, some of these probably actually exist in our universe out there somewhere, not in the realm beyond with God. All the time anyway.
And then the third choir is the ones closest to humanity, which is the.
Yeah. And we know they definitely exist within our universe, that they're around. So yeah, we'll have to come back and do angels again one time.
The second choir.
Yeah, we'll definitely discuss the second choir. We may even do more in-depth religious discussions. I've never understood certain things in the Bible. Maybe we'll have a little Bible discussion sometime.
And you get carried away with that sometimes. I may even sing him down.
Yeah, I may get to preaching and squalling and stuff, and you have to sing me down.
Yeah.
No, hopefully it won't get that bad. But for now, I think we're going to call this episode and move along. We will be back on Friday.
Yep, and we'll discuss our merch giveaway.
That's right. We mentioned on our last episode we might do a merch giveaway.
Because with our last episode, we reached 500
streams
and downloads.
500 listens, streams, downloads.
I've researched that, and it's saying that us getting this so quickly in a month that we are like the top 50% of new podcast in the world.
Oh, there's no way. We don't.
I don't think so, but that's what I've researched with us making such good progress within our first month.
Okay, I guess there probably are a lot of new podcasts that they don't.
I did read that a lot don't get 100 listens within their first month.
Oh, yeah, well, we
are at 500.
We tore that up.
Yeah. So. And Monday made our 1 month, and we made 500.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, it's all thanks to all of you out there that are tuning in and listening to us ramble about all these crazy things we just like to discuss. Well, as always, we want to hear from you too. Leave us some comments. Be sure to like. Be sure to share. Recommend us to your friends. Maybe they want to tune in and listen to some of our ramblings. And you can always find us on Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, and then of course we have TikTok. Now we were thinking of doing some of the angels we discussed, throwing up a TikTok, but you know what? It's all over TikTok. If you go on TikTok and type in,
highly recommend going down that rabbit hole and learning about these angels.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and some people come up with some incredibly good, interpretations of these angels. Like I said, a lot of people have used AI to create these pictures and these videos that are these biblically accurate angels, supposedly, allegedly. That's one of our new words, allegedly.
Yeah, we gotta say that, or you get in trouble.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
But anyway, so yeah, we decided not to do the TikTok thing with this episode. But like you said, that's a very good rabbit hole to kind of go down. It's pretty interesting. Check out them angels on TikTok.
I like to do that, like bedtime, TikTok bedtime moments, down there for like 20 minutes and before I go to sleep.
Yeah, 20 minutes that turns into 2 hours.
And look through all those. It's like interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty interesting. Yeah. I like watching them. So, come back and check us out on Friday and check us out on X. We've got an X account. Mm-hmm. We might start doing more over there. And share our podcast. Let others know.
But definitely tune in on Friday. You're not going to want to miss our little giveaway.
Yeah, we're working on trying to do something new and exciting for Friday. Not just the merch giveaway. We're going to try to do some other things. But
Kind of like a celebration and review of
yeah,
past episodes and people's wanting to
yeah,
give their input
yeah.
on
We're
some.
going to try to get some people on with us actually this
We
time.
know people that are wanting to add to their stories of the Haints and Boogers.
Right.
People's wanting to add in on their stories to the floods.
Yeah.
The
Yeah. People wanting to
2024.
put their 2 cents in. Like I said, you can always put your 2 cents in the comments.
Yeah.
And then we'll even read them. But yeah, we're going to try to have some people, some family and friends of ours that yeah, we're going to try to bring on just to try to test this out. We're going to see if we can actually do this professionally, be able to take phone calls and things of that nature.
Yeah.
This is going to be a celebration and a test.
Yep.
An experiment. So yeah, be sure to come back Friday. We're going to be doing something with a merch giveaway and maybe have some guests. Come back and listen. And until then, I'm Hillbilly Fandom.
And I'm Appalachian Shade.
We'll see you on the next one. Watch out for them boogers.